Good day and welcome. I'm Joey and this is Orange D20. Today we're going to be continuing building out the town of Geldale. We're going to be adding in some of the shops that adventurers will be purchasing their gear from in the Dungeons and Dragons West Marches game that we're building here. We're going to put in a few of the locations that they will possibly want to go to before they head out to their very first adventure. And so in just a second here, I'm going to magically switch shirts and start doing that. The next thing I want to do is I want to create a few stores that characters might visit before they leave town. Generally, first level characters will have the basics they need for an adventure pre-stocked, but I like the idea of building out the places these might be, and for some games I might ask characters not to finish equipping themselves before they head out. I'd be unlikely to do that in this game, but I like having these stores in existence so that they can be the places characters will go to when they need to buy stuff. So I'm going to, as part of this, use the World Anvil as inspiration and show you the step-by-step of building out a building, because you didn't get to see that with the guild hall. So first I'm going to select a building. And for this building, I'm going to make this the general store. This is going to be the place where you can buy pretty much anything that you will find in the player's handbook under adventuring gear on page 150. To name this store, we're going to one of my favorite resources, the fantasynamegenerators.com, and we're going to have it generate some randomized shop names for us. So not all of these work, and I don't love many of these. I'm going to click again to get another set of names. I like Angelic Canvas. Pages 72 and 73 of Xanathar's Guide to Everything have some excellent tables for building out NPCs. I use these for almost everything. So I am going to grab some dice here and randomly roll a race for the owner of Angelic Canvas. So I've got a 23, which gives me a human. I tend to also roll out gender. So we have a male human who runs this store. Next, I could use Fantasy Name Generator. I'm going to just randomly roll an English name from, again, the back of Xanthars. 51 gives me John. So that is going to be the owner. And one of the fields you get in here is you can create an owner for a store. So we're going to put in John, and I don't want to give him actually, let's give him the last name of Angel. Now I've got a button here to create a new article and link it. So I will be able to go in and put some stuff about John Angel. As I'm thinking about it, if it's called Angelic Canvas, I want Canvas to somehow be involved. So I am picturing a store that has a bunch of awnings out front made of canvas where most of the goods are kept. A canopy of canvas spreads out from a small shop set far back on its lot. Shelves of locking wheels of gnomish design display a series of wares. John, the owner, stands near the front next to a counter with a crossbow displayed clearly to dissuade any would-be thieves. The roped-off edges of his stalls are patrolled by down-on-their-luck caravan guards and adventurers, willing to take easy work for less reward. As I'm thinking forward, there's going to be a lot of downtime if you happen to miss a game. So this is going to be one of the places where people could take a downtime job. It won't pay as well as proper adventuring. You'll be making just enough to get by, but it also explains how he can run this business out in the open as much as he can. So I get to choose a location type, and this is a generic shop. For purpose, this shop sells all adventuring gear from the player's handbook. John will not buy used goods, but will direct people to the pawn shop. Under architecture, I'm clarifying that rolling shelves that can break in place are held in a series of racks. The original general store overgrew its space nearly 5 years ago, so John started acting almost like a one-man open-air bazaar. History is a very good prompt for a bunch of different types of buildings you could build. It doesn't quite suit this shop. Making the parent location Geldale means that it will be automatically linked. If I wanted another organization to control John, I could choose them from here. However, that doesn't really make sense to me. So once I'm finished, I can check off that this is a draft and save those changes. And if we go into view mode, it looks like this. We can click into parent location to get to Geldale, and I'm going to click in and write a little bit about John. Here I've written a very rough sketch of John. John is a tough man who was born in Geldale. As a young man, he would wander in the woods nearby and has the veteran stat block, even though he has never formally served. Friendly but a little distant, after the Reclaimers came to town, John made many friends among them. Stealing from him would have a number of powerful adventurers upset. He is almost an unofficial member of the guild, and most members come to him for supplies. Balding in his late 40s, he worries slightly about the time that will come when he is physically unfit to manage his shop the way he does now. There are a bunch of props on things you could put in for the NPC. None of these fit because this is not an important enough character. If I had built out a calendar, I would assign him a year of birth. And you can put a lot of details into the characters. Because the feature exists, I do like to use the categorization. So I'm going to pull these new articles I've just created into these categories. And I care about alphabetical order. So that is where that ends up. And John goes here as a character. One thing I'm looking at doing differently for Geldale than I would for most of the games I've run is I am designing the shops a little more carefully because players will be spending a lot of time here. So what I've actually done is I've divided the weapon and armor shops into 4 separate shops. One weaponsmith and then a light armor, a medium armor, and a heavy armor. So for the first shop, for the weapons shop, we have Baptisms of Fire. Odhild Lauder is a prodigy of a weaponsmith. She builds superb weapons in no time. 3 harried assistants try to keep up and take on lesser commissions. Both forges in this smithy are constantly blaring, and there is an endless air of chaos. Lauder Armors is the heavy armor shop. Located near the Clan Lauder mines, 2 brothers, Gardane and Travok, have smithed the best armors in the area for the last 60 years. They insist on heavy protection and are very happy when a design of a piece requires detailed work and decoration. They are also very happy to send clients looking for lighter armors to Iron and Fire and have a surprising amount of respect for Farin, the smith there. Iron and Fire is the medium armor smith. Located half below ground and of squat dwarven design, this armory actually belongs to a wood elf, Farin Norgir. She was granted it when her master retired 60 years ago and has kept up his tradition of quality. Many find her attitude and outlook to be more traditionally dwarven, which she takes as a compliment. And finally, Savara. A low, dark building with dust motes floating in the stray beams of light. Several surprisingly well-stitched pieces of leather armor are on display. The patron, an old one-eyed tabaxi named Mokra, never lets anyone catch her working, but the store is always well stocked. My idea in building these out and separating these into several different stores is the fact that characters will be in the same town for this entire campaign. This is going to be the one point of civilization people go to, so I want a little more detail here. And I want to include different stores for different characters to build relationships out of and to build kind of factions around people who want to work with Clan Loader or avoid it. And avoiding Clan Loader means that you're going to have more of a difficulty getting weapons and armor as you need to purchase them. There's going to be other sources for these things, but this is what I need for the original game. Places where characters can go to equip themselves, because even if they have the gear they need at the very beginning, these are the stores characters would want to go to after they have made a little bit of money on the first adventure.
One thing we haven't done yet is build out any characters based on things that came out of Session 0. I'm worried we're going a little long on time here, so I may look at building something like that out in the next video, although there is the chance that I will leave it until after our first adventure. I want to look at how we set that adventure and what that adventure looks like. Something that may surprise people who haven't written adventures before is you don't always write them out in the order that they are experienced by players. So we will probably start designing the dungeon and then put the hook into the dungeon after we have built out what that dungeon actually looks like. So I think what we will be doing next time is building our very first dungeon for this campaign. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If there's something that you'd like to see added to the town, put it in the comments down below and I will look at building it out. Otherwise, this has been Orange D20 and I've been Joey. Thanks for watching. Bye.